Broadcasting from down on the bayou, it's the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast, powered by Lake Area Media, LLC. And now your hosts, David Boston and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 117 of the AMPWrestlingPodcast. Podcast. I'm David Boston. He is Patrick Fry. And Patrick, before we get into everything today, I had some time to ponder yesterday. I sat on my porch for about 3.5 hours waiting for my wife to get home from work. And I had some time to think. Had some time to listen to music and kind of zen out. And I came up with something. Well, not really came up with something, but I had a revelation.
And what was that revelation?
So I locked myself out the crib, and I'm sitting on my porch, and we're kind of minimalist. We don't like having a lot of stuff, so we don't really have anything to sit on the porch with. So I'm sitting there for 3 hours on a wooden step, feeling homeless, sweating my ass off, and I'm listening to music, and then it occurs to me, I'm listening to Pandora. Does anybody in the world have the Pandora app anymore besides me?
I still have it. I don't use it.
Do you ever listen to it?
Every now and again. It's somewhat of a rare occasion because I have Apple Music, and then if I don't have direct access to Apple Music, I go to YouTube. So Pandora it's a rare situation where I'm using Pandora, but there are some times, if I'm out, if I just want to play some music and not worry about picking songs, and there's a certain kind of music I want to hear, then I'll go to Pandora because they do a good job. Now, it seems like there's more and more ads on Pandora, obviously, if you have the free version, but that gets kind of annoying at times. And then I also have satellite radio. I have the app on my phone too, so I can. Pandora and Sirius XM have kind of like merged, I think, to an extent. So I can always use it through there too.
I don't know what year specifically they came out, but I would imagine it was sometime in the mid 2000s. I remember my uncle telling me, "Yeah, I was listening to so and so on the Pandora app." I was like, "What's a Pandora?" And it was all the rage back then, but now it's like it's not the new kid in school anymore. So like this lost its shine. Everybody's on the Spotify now. Nobody really cares about Pandora anymore. And it's a great app. You put in that Nirvana list right there, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really, it was really, I guess, I'm trying to think of the term to use here. I don't know. I had it at the tip of my tongue here, but definitely, I guess, a breakthrough in streaming music to an extent. With the ability to just sort of, you don't have to listen to a radio station where, and if anything, guys like us who work in radio, we should probably hate Pandora because they're really are a substitute for us in a way. But yeah, it was definitely a really interesting thing whenever it came about because of just what you can do. You type in an artist and you not only get to hear that particular artist, but you get to hear other artists who perform very similar music to it. So yeah, it was an interesting breakthrough when it comes to streaming music. And I think I was actually about to look it up here real quick to see what year it came out. It doesn't say. Well,
yeah, all you young kids out there listening to the Spotify and the Apple Music, like Marcus Talbert, he said in the chat that he uses Apple Music. He's here to hang out before work. What's up, Marcus? But yeah, all of you need to go ahead and download Pandora and just give it a few minutes every day.
So apparently Pandora was founded all the way back in January of 2000.
Oh, it was 2000.
According to Pandora Media Inc., media streaming service company founded January 2000 in Oakland, California, is what.
Were there even smartphones back in 2000?
No, I don't think so, but I think it might have been something you could do online. You might be able to go on a website and do it, and then obviously when smartphones became a thing, they created an app for it, and the rest is history.
All right. I just thought I'd bring that up because it hit me like a ton of bricks when I was sweating all over my phone trying to get to my Nirvana station. I was like, I bet you I'm the only person on this planet that still listens to Pandora.
No, I can guarantee you there are still many folks out there that use Pandora. And even like I said, I use it from time to time, but it's definitely a rare occasion.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this show kick-started real quick. And we won't spend much time on this because obviously nobody really clicks this link. But if you want to help the show out, especially, I mean, we're coming up to holidays. If you're doing a lot of holiday shopping on Amazon, this is how you can help out the show without actually sending money to the show, like on our Patreon or our PayPal link. You can use our Amazon affiliate link. It is no extra cost to you. Amazon will put your boys a commission in the little bank just for sending traffic their way. All you have to do, put into your browser, whether it's on your phone or your computer, tinyurl.com/Amazon AMP, and that will get you, you know what? Why are these people still working? It's 5 o'clock, Patrick. Is that coming over the podcast?
Probably so, yeah.
Dadgummit. Let me get out of this app right here. Okay, it's gone.
It sounds like your email may be going off there.
No, that was your people in traffic talking.
Oh, okay. Oh, in the interesting.
Yeah, in Teams.
Oh,
right,
I wasn't getting those. That might have been some older messages that you might have got there.
Where was I, Patrick? I was talking about our Amazon AMP. Yeah. So the holidays are coming up. So if you're doing some shopping for maybe some Thanksgiving decor or some holiday gifts for family and friends, make sure you put this in your browser, tinyurl.com/Amazon AMP, and then bookmark it and just call it Amazon. And every time you go shop on Amazon, you can help your boys out, get a little commission, and it all adds up in the long run.
Yep, and I use bookmarks religiously. So I know that there's a lot of folks out there who use those religiously too. So it's very simple. You don't have to pay any extra money. Just use that bookmark. Go to Amazon every time you go. Use the bookmark, and that's all you got to do. It doesn't cost any extra, and it helps your boys out here a little bit. Now, you said something about, you don't have to necessarily, put extra money in our Patreon. We don't want to, we don't want to discourage you from doing that. We definitely want you to, if you're feeling generous, go ahead and, throw some money at us on Patreon or wherever you want to throw us money at. We'll take money anyway, anyhow. So, but yeah, we got a good episode today. We got a lot to talk about on today's episode number 117 for Tuesday, October 26th, 2021. Ooh, boy, a big moment on SmackDown this past Friday night. And it wasn't necessarily because it wasn't even a wrestling match or anything. It was the Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch segment that apparently did not go as planned, and there was a lot of aftermath because of the fact that that segment did not go as planned. We'll talk about that. Also, Crown Jewel was last week. We'll talk about that. Also, the G1 Climax wrapped up, I think, last week as well. We'll talk about that. And then this past weekend was Impact's Bound for Glory. So a lot of big shows happening lately here in professional wrestling. So we'll talk about those. Speaking of big shows, WWE came out with their pay-per-view schedule the other day. We'll talk about that. We'll look over that. And then, of course, we got some rumor mill stuff. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt pursued hard by a wrestling company, and also what will happen to undrafted WWE talents. They just had the draft, and some folks did not get drafted. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. Well, I had to sneeze, but
let it flow, son.
Well, I was about to, and then it went away. So, and then of course the latest rumors on Roman Reigns' title. Here it comes again. Trying to let it flow, man.
Patrick, you are the worst at suppressing your sneezes. Let it flow, son.
Dude, I'm trying to let it flow. It's just not.
I mean, you're at the house. You're not even here at work. I mean, let it go.
I'm trying to. I'm like, but at some point, hopefully while you're talking, I could just let it go in the bag. But anyway, latest rumors.
I've always been your biggest cheerleader to let those things go.
I know. But we had the latest rumors on Roman Reigns' title reign. And so we'll talk about that and everything else I just mentioned coming up on the AMP Wrestling Podcast, episode number 117 for Tuesday, October 26th, 2021.
Find us on your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. We're all there. Just search AMP Wrestling Podcast.
All right, so let's dive into the first topic here, and that is the basically all the drama that has unfolded with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. So, for those of you who have not been paying attention to WWE as of late, obviously they it's very these days it's very easy to not pay attention to WWE. But
yes, sir.
So obviously they had the draft, and some superstars got moved around. Charlotte Flair got moved over to SmackDown. Becky Lynch got moved over to Monday Night Raw. And, well, Becky is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Charlotte was the Raw Women's Champion. So, obviously, you cannot have the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown and vice versa. So, they're going to do what I think it was the New Day and the Usos did this a couple of years back, where they had to swap the tag team titles because they were, I think one team had the SmackDown tag team titles. They got drafted to Raw and vice versa. And so basically they were getting ready to do this on Friday night on SmackDown. Well, apparently, I guess Charlotte, I don't know, she didn't want her title reign to seem weak or whatever the case may be. I think she kind of put up a little bit of a fight, so to speak, as far as wanting to do this, but I guess she was going to go out and do it anyway. So what happened was Sonya Deville was out there, and she was sort of, I guess, mediating it. Is that even a word, mediate? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Or moderating. I don't know, whatever they want to call it. But she was out there to, obviously make sure there was a smooth transition or a swap of the belts. And, well, there was not, because she first asked Charlotte to hand it over to the Raw Women's title over to Becky. And from what I've read, the way the segment was supposed to go is that Charlotte was going to give Becky the Raw Women's title first, and then Becky would have had both belts in her possession. And obviously, Becky 2 belts was a big thing, and I think Becky would have kind of made a little joke like, hey, look at me, I'm Becky 2 belts again, or whatever the case may be. I think that was partially what was supposed to happen. And apparently Charlotte just, and I mean, anybody who watched it live, Charlotte was about to hand it to her, and then Becky, I think, tried to reach out and grab the belt, and then Charlotte, pulled it away from her, and then she dropped the belt. And now I don't know if it was intentional or not that she dropped the belt on the ground, but she did. So Sonya, demanded Charlotte pick up the belt or whatever and, give it to Becky. And Charlotte, I think, eventually did. And then next thing you know, Becky throws her belt, the SmackDown belt, at Charlotte. Throws it at her. And that wasn't supposed to happen either. So there was some sort of, I guess, miscommunication somewhere, or I don't know. There was something went down in the midst of that segment. And it's been reported that, and I got some of the articles up right here. So apparently, it went down like that. It didn't go down how it was supposed to, but apparently they had a heated confrontation backstage, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, and also apparently Sonya Deville had a heated confrontation with Charlotte Flair to the point where people were saying Sonya Deville was ready to fight Charlotte. So
yes.
It says right here, Sonya Deville also got into an argument with Charlotte Flair after the segment on SmackDown this week. According to PW Insider, Sonya was described as mad enough to want to fight Flair backstage. So,
yes.
And, I'm just reading all sorts of articles about this. I mean, if you go on Reddit and look up on the Squared Circle Reddit, the hottest post of the past week, I mean, a good majority of them are about this segment and the aftermath. PW Torch had this article where it says, one wrestler said Becky is seen as a hero for standing up to Charlotte, who over the course of this year has alienated her colleagues backstage with attitude issues. She's been increasingly difficult to work with, one wrestler told PW Torch, referring to, of course, Charlotte. So it seems like, Charlotte is starting to, draw some heat with the locker room. And I'm reading things that apparently people close to Charlotte Flair are telling her she needs to try to get out of her WWE contract. And we know that's not going to happen, but at least WWE is going to do everything in their power to not let that happen. But man, it's not looking good for Charlotte. I mean, her image backstage, I think, is starting to really take a big hit. And I don't know what it is about her. I mean, she's been around now, the main roster for 5-6 years or something like that. So, and I mean, obviously she's done it all at this point. So I don't know what to think about Charlotte. I mean, it seems like she's starting to get maybe an ego problem. I don't know. And, Becky, is sort of calling her out for it backstage. I think, and also there's another thing. I don't know how serious this report is, but it says hearing reports that this is Adam Pasidi, I think is how you say his name, said that hearing reports that Charlotte Flair called Becky Lynch's mom a slag and says she's no longer invited to her birthday party. So I don't know how serious to take that particular headline, but nonetheless,
no, Adam Pacitti, he's in there, man. He's either with Cultaholic or with What Culture Wrestling.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking on his Twitter feed right now. He is with managing director of Cultaholic. Good job. There you go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it seems like this is real. And it was said that Vince was upset that Charlotte, apparently just left gorilla position without talking to him, and apparently she was escorted out of the building by security. And I mean, there's just so many things that have come out from the aftermath of this, and then even Andrade. The first thing I saw, and because I didn't watch SmackDown on Friday, and it apparently, I saw Andrade tweeted like "F you WWE," and then somebody like quote tweeted it and was talking about how this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's happening right now. So I kind of started looking into it, and that's when I started seeing things about the segment and whatnot. Fightful Select also said that Becky Lynch was supposed to grab Charlotte's title last night. Charlotte went against that in the segment. Backstage, Charlotte was told to leave the arena. So yeah, Vince McMahon wasn't happy. This is according to Talk Sports. So many different, outlets have been putting out headlines about this and what happened after the fact. So basically what I have gotten from it is that, Charlotte, I guess, is getting a little too big for her britches, for a lack of a better term, because apparently she went against the script because I guess she felt, she didn't want to look like a bitch, I guess. I don't know, or something.
No, that's not it.
So this is what Marcus said. Could this be her trying to force their hand? Her trying to force them to let her go. She wants to go to AEW. I mean, I don't know if she really wants to go to AEW. She might. I mean, because like I mentioned a while ago, she's pretty much done everything in WWE at this point. So I don't know, but it seems like she's drawn a lot of heat, and I don't even know if there's a way that she can really come back from it.
Fightful Select also says she's been outspoken about WWE creative for some time now. So,
well, that's understandable. I can understand that.
Right, but she's bringing all kinds of heat from her. Heat from the office and heat from the girls, because PW Torch says that no women in WWE want to work with her right now. No women.
And now
some women don't.
Now, I did read a thing that apparently Charlotte pitched the idea to have Bianca take the belt from her because they had the Raw Women's Championship match, Charlotte and Bianca, on the Monday night, or last week on Monday Night Raw before the Crown Jewel event. So I did read that apparently Charlotte pitched the idea to have her drop the belt to Bianca, which seems reasonable. I guess it would have avoided all this. That's for sure. So I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where, and someone said it perfectly on Reddit. When the WWE is best when WWE doesn't get what they want, and because obviously they wanted this to go differently, and now it's not going differently. Now everyone's talking about it. Now everyone's, they're kind of, the spotlight is on them. So it might not be the best spotlight, but any publicity is good publicity when it comes to pro wrestling these days, I suppose, or at least when it comes to WWE getting attention. So yeah, to me it just seems, I don't know if this is going to blow over or not. I don't know if this is something that can't be fixed, because I thought Becky and Charlotte were really tight. Apparently, they're not as tight as they used to be, and hey, and Charlotte's arguably your biggest star, or one of your biggest stars for sure, next to Becky. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's been a good week for Charlotte Flair. That's for sure.
Yeah, I read something that they haven't been good for a while because apparently Becky cut a promo on her and she called her plastic in the promo. And apparently Charlotte, they really struck a nerve with her. But we were talking about this a few weeks ago on the podcast, and I got to stick with my guns, dude. She wants out of WWE, but it sucks for her because I read that she has years left on her contract. So she's pretty much stuck like Chuck because they're not going to let her go to AEW. They might as well just let her sit home and collect a paycheck before she goes to AEW.
No, I mean, I guess I could see that happening, or I could just see her not showing up to work. But then again, I don't know if she can get in some legal trouble for not showing up to work on her contract. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, how they book her, because obviously she is still, she's the women's champion now on their main show, SmackDown. So I'll be interested to see how they book her going forward. But yeah, it's definitely been a hot topic over the last handful of days in the wrestling world. But
her makeup artist needs to be fired.
Yeah, and she needs to. I don't know if she's continuing to have work done on herself, but she needs. Man, at one point she looked great, and now she's. I don't know. She needs to stop. She should have stopped while she was ahead. But
yeah.
But hey, like I was saying, before we went on the air here, if Andrade likes it, then I guess that's all that matters.
There's the issue, and that's why I think she wants out. And she saw Bray Wyatt get released because he was quote unquote difficult to work with. And I think that's what her people saw at the end. They're like, oh, they released Bray, man, just start causing a muck. They'll release you too. And I think she sees, Adam Cole, banging the living daylights out of Britt Baker right now, and she wants some of that Andrade schlong every night, and she can't get it right now.
I mean, she might be able to still get it, I'm sure they
not
they
every night if she was touring with AEW.
Yeah, maybe not, but certainly, I could see her wanting to go to AEW, I guess, just for that particular reason.
And no homo, Andrade's a really good looking dude.
Yeah, he's a hunk, as we like to say here. But between Brinkman and Cruz, and Marcus probably uses the term too sometimes. I like to call people hunks, and I think Andrade would fit under that category. But yeah,
you know it.
I got nothing else on this particular story. I'm just be curious to see, because Survivor Series is coming up. Well, I mean, and usually they do champion versus champion. So, who are the two champions right now? Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Obviously, a match we've seen dozens of times already. So, and now with this recent falling out between the two in this incident, how are they going to book this? It'll be interesting to see.
And I read something else that, right now they don't know what they're going to do with Charlotte, because if they fine her, then they're going to have to fine Becky and Sonya as well. If they suspend her, they're going to have to suspend Becky and Sonya as well, because no fisticuffs happened. Nobody hit anybody. It was just an argument. So if they do it to Flair, the only fair thing to do would be able to do it to all three girls. So they're kind of on the fence about what they're going to do to reprimand her.
I don't
for
think
pretty much going in business for herself.
I just don't see them reprimanding them three just for this. The Usos get DUIs and get the tag team titles. So
but they're also in the bloodline.
Yeah, but it's still, these two women are at the top of the women's division in the company. So I don't see them reprimanding them two at all for this. They might say, "Hey, look, chill out," or then we'll do something. But you did what you did. We're going to let this one slide, but if this keeps up, then we're going to come down on you. But how hard will they come down on her? I don't know.
I don't see Charlotte Flair ending this anytime soon. I think her and Becky are going to have to fight, like, for real, like this backstage knockout. Now, one thing, too, if she's going to go off script, on TV to make you look like a chump, why couldn't Becky go off script and just slap her in the mouth?
I don't know. Then that could have caused a real fight in the ring, and who knows what would have happened there. But Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm very curious to see what happens going forward. How they, if they're going to book these two to go up against each other and at Survivor Series, because we know, like I said, in the past they've done champion versus champion on each brand, and they're the two champs right now.
You would have had Becky yelling at Charlotte, sounding like a man, and then Charlotte yelling at Becky, looking like a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's my final thought.
All righty. Well, let's move on now to WWE Crown Jewel, which took place last Thursday over in Saudi Arabia. It was actually a good show. Like I said, I didn't watch it live because Peacock is trash. I will continue to say that, and I'll take that to my grave.
How'd you watch it?
I followed along. I went on Reddit and watched just some clips they posted on Reddit and whatnot, and I watched some highlights. So I kind of saw bits and pieces of it, and obviously I got the results in front of me right here. In the pre-show, the Usos defeated the Hurt Business in a tag team match. First match of the night was the Hell in a Cell match, Edge and Seth Rollins. What a match that was. That was from what I saw and what I've heard, that was a really good match. Edge ultimately won, and you would think now that rivalry is over, but they're both on Raw, so they're going to probably run into each other maybe a time or two, although I think Edge right now might go take a little time off because it seems like Seth now is going to be put into the WWE title picture with Big E, but Edge did defeat Seth Rollins by pinfall after he curb stomped Seth Rollins onto a chair. So
how in the hell does Edge go from, if he takes one more hit, he's freaking paralyzed, to now taking tons of hits and he's not paralyzed?
Well, over time, I guess, his body just kind of healed and he started kind of working it out a little bit, and taking it day by day. And I remember him saying, because he was doing some movies or something, some action movies. And, he was saying, like, after he'd do some of these fight scenes and stuff, he was like, man, I feel pretty good. So he went back to the doctors, and, the doctors evaluated him and said, you could probably go back and wrestle. Maybe not on a full-time schedule, but, I think you can get it. As long as you're feeling good, I don't see why. So,
as long as nobody power drive you.
Yeah, I guess, you're right about that. But, but Edge defeated Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. Great match. It went almost 30 minutes, by the way. It was the longest match of the night. So
nice.
Very good match there. Next match, Mansoor defeated Mustafa Ali. Mansoor, of course, from Saudi Arabia. I think, they always got to put a little spotlight on him whenever they are in Saudi Arabia. So he defeated...
We talked about that last week. What a load of crap. How in the hell are you going to put over this Iranian jobber over Mustafa Ali? Why wouldn't you just give him this little hack from Iran to go over on?
Well, I don't know. And Mansoor is...
Don't you defend this. Do not defend this, Patrick Fry.
Look, it's a Saudi Arabia show. I would say it's a throwaway show, but it's one of those things where you got to have a moment where, obviously most of the people say that, it's in Saudi Arabia, and while the fans in Saudi Arabia, they obviously want to see all of the, the Edges, the Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, you name it. I could see why WWE throws a little hometown flavor in there as well. They only go there, once or twice a year? Well, that's more than they come around here. But, I guess a little bit of a, hometown favorite getting a win. Yeah, why not?
Look, Mustafa Ali, I know you will probably never hear this, but just feel the vibes in the universe. Do not re-sign with WWE.
And who you telling that to?
Mustafa Ali.
Well, Mustafa Ali would be fantastic anywhere he went, but I'm sure he doesn't care. I'm sure he got paid a decent amount of money to be there.
I would care. I'd have been like, you're putting this schmuck over me? No, F that.
Well, I guess, Mustafa, hey, he's one of those guys who's like, I'll do whatever you want, boss.
This dude can't even tie my wrestling boots.
But yeah, so Mansoor defeated Mustafa Ali in a exactly 10-minute match. That was
BS.
RK Bro defeated AJ Styles and Omos. The most interesting part of this match was Riddle coming out on a camel. That was wild. Randy Orton just kind of walking by him like, this motherfucker's on a camel. Like,
could that have been seen as disrespectful? Maybe.
Well,
possibly.
No, I mean,
to have like a goofball like him on the top of a camel.
I don't know. I mean,
because camels are pretty important to their society.
I mean, unless it, like I know, like Hindus, was it Hindus or like worship cows? I wonder if like the Saudis worship camels, like the Hindus worship cows. Maybe, I don't know.
No, they don't worship them, but I mean, like camels.
But I guess
still a mode of transportation today. It's like they're really important over there.
And I guess riding a camel is better than other things. Like, at least they weren't like murdering a camel or torturing a camel.
Oh God!
He just rode the camel down to the ring, and then they had a Saudi guy that was kind of like guiding him. So
yeah,
I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure that it was a fun little thing. But RK Bro retains the Raw Tag Team titles, and they still continue to roll. The Queen's Crown Tournament Finals, Selena Vega defeated Doudrop by pinfall. Someone had an interesting stat about the entire tournament for the Queen's Crown, and I think it was that every match in the tournament combined, there was a total of like 19 minutes total of every match. Which is not a lot. So even this match went 5 minutes, 51 seconds. It was the shortest match of the show. Zelina Vega, though, defeated Doudrop. She is now the queen. She won the first Queen's Crown tournament, so a nice little get there for Zelina Vega. The next match... Go ahead.
I don't even know why they have a women's division anymore. It's like they poo-poo on it all the time.
Yeah, well... It's one of those things, they've been complaining
like,
about
why waste
how
they've
been complaining about how they book the women's division, and I'm not upset about Zelina Vega. They brought her back, and we were wondering, what are they going to do with Zelina? And they've done something with her. They gave her the Queen's Crown tournament. At least they didn't give it to somebody who, they give everything else to. So I will say that they gave it to Zelina Vega, who hasn't won anything. They finally are going to, give her something, give her some spotlight here, give her a nice little push. So I'm okay with it.
But I mean, really, will she get a push from this though?
She might. I mean, guess time will tell, I suppose.
No way. So she gets to pick which title she goes after?
No, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think she just maybe gets this new gimmick for now.
That's bull.
I mean, does Xavier Woods get to go pick a championship? I don't think so. He just gets he's the king of the ring. He gets the accolade. It's like winning the Royal Rumble, which bad analogy, but they go on to main event WrestleMania. So, but yeah, Zelina defeated Doudrop.
So the king of the ring never had the opportunity. Like that didn't set you up.
It used
for a next title shot?
I feel like it used to. At one point, it was a stipulation that if you win the King of the Ring, you get a title shot at SummerSlam. They might have done that once or twice. It wasn't always the case. It was, it always started out as just a regular old King of the Ring tournament, Yeah, I guess it should be, but whatever.
Vincent K. McMahon.
The next match was Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, a no-holds-barred false count anywhere match. Goldberg defeated Bobby Lashley after he speared Bobby Lashley off the ramp and through some tables. That was an interesting bump there. Yeah, Goldberg. I figured he'd probably get some revenge on Bobby Lashley, and it was a good finish. I will give him that. So, spearing Bobby Lashley off the ramp, and it was high up there for Goldberg. That's a ways down for Goldberg's old ass.
I'm sure the Prince had something to do with that because, like we said before, he likes all these old dudes. So, obviously, Edge was there. Edge went over. Goldberg went over.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Undertaker there too?
No, not Thursday. No, he was in Saudi Arabia. Like, it was weird. He was in Saudi Arabia, but he was like, he introduced Pitbull at a concert. It was very random. But yeah, he was in Saudi. I'm sure the Saudi prince said, "Hey, come introduce Pitbull for a quick million."
Yeah, hell yeah, he probably paid him a whole bunch of money, and then probably just to hang out with him for the night.
Maybe so. But yeah, he did introduce Pitbull at a concert in Saudi Arabia. I think like maybe a couple of days before. I don't know. It wasn't the same day as the show, but it was like within a week before, for sure, I think.
Oh, Pitbull's like, damn, I want some of that Saudi money.
Yeah, I'm sure he got some. He got to do a concert there, so.
Yeah.
The King of the Ring tournament final, Xavier Woods defeated Finn Balor, so Xavier Woods gets to live his lifelong dream. It's always been his dream to win King of the Ring, so Xavier Woods is now King of the Ring, and I'm very interested to see how they book him with that gimmick going forward. I think he can he'll have a good time with that gimmick. He's also the first babyface to win the King of the Ring since, I think, Edge in like 2001 or something, I think is what I read. Like he's the first babyface to win it in 20 years. So that's interesting there. But yeah, Xavier Woods defeated Finn Balor. WWE Championship match. Big E defeated Drew McIntyre. I'm looking to see. We talked last week. No titles changed hands, by the way. So that was an interesting thing we talked about last week about no titles changing hand. I thought.
That betting website said that no titles would change hands.
Yeah, I thought the SmackDown Women's title would change hands, which I guess it should have, because then it would have avoided the first thing we talked about here on the show. But Big E defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the WWE Championship. Becky Lynch defeated Bianca and Sasha to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. So no titles changed hands. Overall, it was a good show. I heard it was a good show. Like I said, I didn't watch it live because Peacock is trash. But
what did you hear on these groups? Did people say that Peacock had it together this time, or was it still glitching up?
I didn't hear any feedback about the quality.
Marcus, did you watch it on Peacock?
Yeah, I know, Marcus, you watched it. I mean, I don't know if Peacock screwed the pooch again, but
because I think I might be willing to pull the trigger on this $4.99 thing.
I might do it for the Royal Rumble coming up in January, because I do love the Royal Rumble. It is my favorite match of the year, the Royal Rumble matches. But other than that, and keep it through WrestleMania. But other than that, yep, I'm good. But yeah, so that was Crown Jewel. Like I said, I heard most people say it was a really good show. If they felt like the WWE talent came out there, really put on a great show, and gave a lot of good effort there. I didn't really hear any bad things about the show at all. So kudos to WWE for putting on a good show. I know being in Saudi Arabia, they call it the Blood Money Show, but hey, if Saudi Arabia's paying them all that money, I don't blame them for going. So, all right. The next thing we're going to talk about, the New Japan G1 Climax. That has come to its conclusion here. And I tell you what, a couple of injuries really kind of plagued the tournament a little bit. At the beginning of the tournament, Tetsuya Naito had to withdraw due to a knee injury. And then in the final, you had Kota Ibushi, who won Block A, and Kazuchika Okada, who won Block B. Kazuchika Okada actually won it, I think, on the final night of block play. He defeated Jeff Cobb. Cobb was actually in the lead going into the last night. Kazuchika Okada needed a win, and he did defeat Jeff Cobb. And then going into the last night of Block A, Kota Ibushi, there was a four-way tie between Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, Shingo Takagi, and Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi was the only one of those four that won their match on that night. Kota Ibushi actually defeated Kenta, who was one of the guys he was tied with. Shingo Takagi actually had a draw with Yujiro Takahashi, so he only got 1 point. So he actually finished in second place behind Kota Ibushi. So if Shingo Takagi would have won that match, let's see, Shingo Takagi, let me look real quick and see, did he defeat, no, Ibushi actually beat him head up, so Ibushi still would have gone. But in the final, it was Kota Ibushi and Kazuchika Okada, and 25 minutes into the match, the match had to be stopped because of a legit injury to Kota Ibushi. So due to the stoppage, Kazuchika Okada has won the G1 Climax, I think, now for, I don't know, at least I'm trying to see how many times he's won the G1 Climax here. Let's see. He won in 2012, 2014, and 2021. So at least the third time he's won it. So there you go. So Kazuchika Okada won. Another thing to note about the G1 Climax is that Shibata, who has been semi-retired for the last few years due to an injury, came back and actually wrestled a 5-minute exhibition match on the final night, the G1 final. Yeah, the final night, that is, when they had the championship for the G1 Climax. He came out and, let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, he wrestled, who was it? If I can pull it up here real quick. He wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. in a impromptu 5-minute UWF Rules exhibition grappling match. UWF is the Union of Professional Wrestling Force International, so I've never heard of that, but... yeah, so an interesting thing there, Shibata, who's, like I said, he's been out of action for the last handful of years due to an injury. He had to semi-retire, but he came back into the ring, so I wonder if we're going to get a return to the ring, maybe on a more often occasion from Shibata in the future.
Was that the guy that broke his neck a few years ago?
I can't remember. Let's see here. Suffering a subdural hematoma. Let's see. A type of bleeding which a collection of blood usually associated with a traumatic brain injury gathers between the inner layer of the dura mater and the something around the brain, I think. So I don't know if it was a neck injury, but it seemed like a brain injury is what he had. So, yeah. Apparently he suffered that at Sakura Genesis 2017. So 4 years ago. He's been out of action for over 4 years, and it says afterwards he addressed the crowd, saying the next time he will step back into the ring, it will be in his ring gear, presumably in a sanctioned wrestling match. So it does appear that Shibata is going to come back and try to wrestle legitimately here. So Marcus said, no, they didn't, and don't worry. If y'all need, I got y'all. Cruz is using mine, so I'll let y'all watch it. Oh, well, we appreciate that, Marcus. Marcus is going to let us use his Peacock. No homo whenever we need. So thank you, Marcus. We appreciate that.
It seems like old NBC might be getting their ish together over there, huh?
They need to, because the WWE Network was 100 times better than freaking Peacock. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you can't watch The Office on the WWE Network.
I mean, I don't. As let's put it this way: the only reason I had Peacock was to watch WWE. So anything else that was on there could care less. All right, so we talked about Crown Jewel. We talked about the G1 Climax. Now let's jump into Bound for Glory, which happened on Saturday night. A big night for Impact Wrestling. I'm going to go through the results here. Feel free to jump in whenever you want. So in the pre-show, they had an intergender 6-way match for the inaugural Impact Digital Media Championship, and the winner of that was Jordynne Grace. She defeated Chelsea Green, Crazy Steve, Fala Ba, I think that's how you say it, John Schuyler, and Madison Rain. So it says by pinfall. I don't know exactly who she pinned, but she won that by pinfall. So Jordynne Grace, the first ever Impact Digital Media Championship.
It sucks for whoever she pinned, because Impact Wrestler Insider, who will remain anonymous, said that her cooch smells.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I do remember that now. Okay, yeah, you're right. I cannot confirm nor deny it. So, but our sources have stated that it doesn't smell good. So, but we're not going to sit here and talk about that. We have
sources.
It's one of those things where, if it doesn't smell good, let's not even talk about it. If it smells great, we can talk about it. But if it don't smell good, then, like I said, I can't confirm nor deny. I've never been that close. But she is the new in the first Impact Digital Media Championship. So congrats to Jordynne Grace on that. She's really... she's one of the big stars in Impact Wrestling. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously they had girls like Tessa Blanchard that won the Impact World Championship. Would not be surprised in the future if Jordynne Grace was also one of those people.
They must be paying her pretty well too, because she had an interview probably a few months ago, and she said on that interview that she really doesn't do indie bookings anymore. She doesn't do bodybuilding contests anymore, because she's at the point in her career where she can afford just to do Impact Wrestling. She doesn't have to do all this other stuff. So she wants to preserve her body as long, because she wants to wrestle, and she said until she's 50. So they must be paying her pretty well.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, she's definitely been getting into great shape. I follow her on Instagram. She's a great follow, by the way. She posts some fantastic pictures. She leaves very little to the imagination at times. So definitely go give her a follow. But you could definitely tell. I mean, obviously she's a workout freak, and she looks like she's been in the gym too, and she's starting to. I think she's, I don't want to say she's trimming down a little bit, but she seems like she's definitely just. I don't know. I don't know the good term to use is she's getting more fit. I will say that, but at the same time, she still got some muscle. She still got some meat on her. So
don't lose that honky tonk, but donkey donk, girl.
No, she's looking very good. Marcus said, to be honest, that's the only reason I got it was to watch Lost Symbols right now. They actually have good shit on there. The new Halloween is in theaters on there. Oh, okay. Well. Maybe Peacock does have some good stuff other than the wrestling stuff. But so anyway, Jordynne Grace is the first ever Impact Digital Media Championship. To start out the show, we had the debut of Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics. And boy, what a way to start off their Impact career. They defeated Decay, which is Havoc and Rosemary, to win the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So the Inspiration are the new Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. What a debut for them. Then, go ahead.
And we got the pictures of them with the titles at our Facebook page, AMP Wrestling. And, God, are they so hot.
Yeah, like I said, Jordynne Grace is a good follow on Twitter. So is Instagram. So is Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay. Fantastic stuff there.
And you know what sucks? We talked about it a few weeks ago about how I was kind of disappointed that they didn't go to AEW and join Britt Baker's clique, because they would have been perfect for that. But now we're hearing that AEW and Impact's working agreement is over. It's done. Like it concluded after the end of Bound for Glory. So they can't go over and work for AEW too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they might, but you never know. That forbidden door is always there as far as I'm concerned. The next match was for the vacant Impact X Division Championship, because I think Josh Alexander was the Impact X Division Champion, and then he gave it up so he can go after the Impact World Championship. But Trey Miguel defeated El Phantasmo and Steve Macklin to become the new Impact X Division Champion. Next match
He's so good.
Yeah, next match was a tag team match. It was Heath and Rhino defeated Violent by Design, which is Diener and Joe Doring. Heath, I think, at first came out by himself, and then Rhino eventually came out to help him out, and they won the match. So there you go. And the next one, this was an interesting match. A 20-wrestler intergender call your shot gauntlet match. The winner receives a trophy and a contract that they can invoke anytime within 1 year for a championship match of their choosing. Moose won by last eliminating Matt Cardona. So Moose basically is Mr. Money in the Bank for Impact Wrestling at this point. So that was I like how they did that. Obviously you kind of, you got the idea from other companies, but you know what? I think every company deserves needs that sort of thing. You need somebody waiting in the wings to just call their shot. In this case, no pun intended. And
I don't get why they would do intergender, because they don't have Tessa Blanchard anymore, and she's the only lady.
Well, I think if a woman would have
beat a dude up. Well,
if a woman would have won, I would expect the woman would, basically go for the Knockouts Championship. So that's my thought on it. But yeah, Moose won, and we'll have more on Moose in just a little bit. The next match was for the Impact World Tag Team titles. The Good Brothers retained against Finjuice and Bullet Club. So the Good Brothers still the Impact World Tag Team champions. And then,
no more Good Brothers on AEW now.
Yeah, they've haven't seen them in a little minute on AEW. So
that's not good.
Well, I mean, they got Adam Cole Bay now, so they're doing all right without him, I think. But obviously, it doesn't hurt to have him there. But then again,
but the Elite gimmick has been so good.
Oh yeah, and the Good Brothers have kind of just been in the background as far as I'm concerned. They just been kind of, they don't really need to be there as far as I'm concerned. They're
the muscle.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but between Omega, the Bucks, and Adam Cole, Bay, yeah, that's all they need as far as I'm concerned. They don't need the muscle because they're the shit eating heels or whatever, the shit grinning heels. I don't know what you want to call it, but they're gonna run from the fight. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say too. I was like, they were the only dudes that were like legit, BAs on their squad. The rest of the guys are like chicken shit heels.
Yeah, you are right. So, but the Good Brothers retain the Impact World Tag Team titles. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll see the Good Brothers back on AEW at some point. Maybe they had to kind of go to Impact for a little bit, focus on this, and maybe they'll get us some time to go back to AEW. But we'll see.
I would imagine the co-EVPs to work that out somehow.
Yeah, probably so. All right, the Impact Knockouts Championship. Mickie James defeated Deonna Purrazzo. So we had a new champion there. So Mickie James now the new Impact Knockouts champion. So congrats to Mickie James. She's now back on top of the wrestling world in Impact Wrestling.
Boy, she just gets better with age. She is so hot.
Yeah, she ages like fine
damn you,
wine.
Nick Aldis.
Yeah, Mickie James is aging like fine wine. And then you have the Impact World Championship. Josh Alexander defeated Christian Cage by submission. It says right here, this was Alexander's Option C World Championship match. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, Josh Alexander defeated Christian. And then Moose decided to come out and call his shot and defeated Josh Alexander in 7 seconds for the Impact World Championship. So Josh Alexander was the world champion for all of, I think, 2 minutes. And Moose has walked out of Bound for Glory as your Impact World Champion. So there you have it. Really good. I didn't watch it, but it seems like it was a pretty good show. I watched like a recap video that somebody did on YouTube, and seems like it was a very good show by Impact. And it was one of their big shows every year, so I would have expected nothing less from Impact.
Yeah, that sucks that this agreement has stopped because Christopher Daniels made a return recently on Impact. And then I think Christian should have had a longer reign. But, I guess if the contract was over and they didn't re-sign it, I mean, there's no way he could have held the belt for any longer.
Yeah, but, and that's the thing. I think, with Christian, that it was a way to, I guess, because I don't know, I guess Kenny... he had his time in Impact when he was the world champion, and obviously you give it to Christian, and now it was sort of a way for Christian to give it back to a true Impact guy. So and then Moose, calling his shot. Probably 2 hours after he won it, and hey, what can you say? It's one of those things. A little bit of shock value there from Impact Wrestling. So.
Yeah, Fightful reported that Bronson Reed, formerly of NXT, was originally booked for Bound for Glory, but it was changed at the last minute. He never worked the show, and it's unknown why.
Well, maybe we'll see Bronson Reed maybe show up on an Impact taping on a Thursday.
And you know what's funny? Supposedly, this Bronson Reed guy said that Triple H was pretty much going to put a rocket on him.
Yeah, but
it's funny how he got to act so quick.
Yeah, it's the WWE just let go of a truckload of people for whatever reason. Budget cuts was the reason they were giving, but yeah,
those damn budget cut reasons.
Yeah, budget cuts, man.
Come on,
them
man.
Damn budget cuts. But yeah, it seems like Bound for Glory was a good show. So I got nothing else on Bound for Glory. You got anything else on it?
No. Oh, let me see here. No, I thought there was something else in it. Oh, yeah, I already said that about the contract ending with AEW and Impact after Bound for Glory. Okay, never mind.
All righty, well, then we're going to move on now. WWE has unveiled their pay-per-view schedule for 2022, and it's a very interesting schedule, I will say that, because for one, I'm pulling it up here, a lot. Now, WWE traditionally... they hold their pay-per-views on Sunday evenings. Well, the majority of these are going to be on Saturday this year. They're going to have Saturday, January 1st is going to be day one at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Saturday, January 29th is going to be the Royal Rumble in St. Louis. So the Royal Rumble is going to be on a Saturday. I'm kind of excited about that. WrestleMania will be in Dallas. It's going to be 2 nights. So they're going to continue with the 2-night format. And then May 8th, which is a Sunday, and then June 5th, which is a Sunday, they're going to have pay-per-views in Providence, Rhode Island, and Chicago. Those have not been named yet. Another interesting one is Saturday, July 2nd, which would be July 4th weekend. I don't know if WWE's ever put on a July 4th weekend pay-per-view, but it's going to be Money in the Bank, and they're going to have that at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where the Raiders play.
Nice.
So it's going to be a stadium show Saturday, July 2nd, Money in the Bank, and then later that month, July 30th, SummerSlam. That's right, I said it. July the 30th, SummerSlam, which normally takes place in August, mid to late August, is going to be happening also on a Saturday. It happened on Saturday last year, but Saturday, July 30th, SummerSlam at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, which I think that's where the Titans play, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
So, yeah, you got 2 stadium shows in a span of a month right there. And then WWE is going to run a pay-per-view on Labor Day weekend. It's going to either be Saturday, September 3rd or Sunday, September 4th. Rumors are that that's going to be a UK pay-per-view. In the UK, they're going to do a pay-per-view. So that's the rumors. They, according to the site, it's at a TBD location, but rumors are it's going to be at the UK. And, of course, we know All Out with AEW does Labor Day weekend. So they were saying, if they do it in the UK, odds are the show for WWE is going to happen during the day here in the States. So it may not go head-to-head with an All Out, which is a good thing. So, yeah, that's an interesting move there. And then they're going to have Survivor Series November 26th and in Boston next year. So that's the WWE pay-per-view schedule as of right now. Obviously, I would think they might add some more, sprinkle some more here and there. But, yeah, that's what they got. A very interesting schedule. A lot of Saturday stuff. You got the July 4th weekend on July 2nd, Money in the Bank, and then now SummerSlam's in July. You got the Labor Day weekend pay-per-view, and then you got the 2-night WrestleMania. So very interesting pay-per-view schedule coming up next year for WWE.
Did it say anything about why the change to Saturday?
Let's see. I'm reading the article. This is straight off WWE.com.
What are they going to do with the NXT takeovers?
Well, those might not even be a thing. Well, they might. You know what they might do, because they started kind of doing this. They might put those on. Well, they might put them on a Sunday when you have a Saturday pay-per-view, or they might just have the NXT takeovers on their own weekend. Is what they may do. Is what I'm guessing. Yeah, no, interesting move there. So, but yeah, that's the WWE pay-per-view schedule, and I'm very excited about the more Saturday stuff. I'm pumped about that.
I don't know. It just seems like Sunday there's a lot less to do, and it's a whole lot easier to plop down on the couch and watch a pay-per-view. I mean, Saturday, kids may have something to do that parents need to bring them to, and so the whole family misses out on the pay-per-view, or, just stuff like that. You want to go hang out with your girlfriend at a music festival or whatever. That's going to be on a Saturday.
Yeah, you're right, but it's whatever. I mean, I'm looking at some of these dates, and as of right now, none of these dates are. And I don't have anything planned out for 2022. At least none of these dates that I can think of. So, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right.
I don't like it.
All right, time for Rumor Mill now. We got some Rumor Mill stuff. David, I know you got a few things on Rumor Mill there.
Yeah, Fightful Select says that Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt were pursued heavily by Impact Wrestling, but deals weren't able to be made. And this is crazy. If you're pursuing these guys heavily, why wouldn't you be able to pay their asking price? Because the company that owns Impact Wrestling has a lot of money. They could throw down on these dudes if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's, because I know Braun Strowman was trying to go back to WWE. Maybe at least on his part, maybe it was a bit of a hesitation. I don't know. I don't know, because going from WWE, and I'm not trying to shit on Impact, but going from WWE to Impact is like, sometimes some guys might be like, man, I was a big deal in WWE, like, and I'm going to Impact, like, I don't know how I feel about that, So I don't know, but I mean, two good guys. You definitely want to, if you're Impact Wrestling and they're out there in the free agent market. Hey, go after him, man. That right there can only help Impact just grow. I feel like Impact is starting to really, get some more momentum back after the pandemic, and those two guys would really give them a lot more momentum.
Yeah, and I think if anybody from Impact Wrestling is listening, just pay these dudes. Like, if you want to be a player, I mean, you're on a better network now. If you want to be a player, then play. Take out that checkbook and write some checks.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
It just kills me. And we've talked about this before. It kills me why Ring of Honor does not want to be a player as well. These dudes, the company that owns Ring of Honor, is loaded. They could pay for anybody they wanted to, but it's like they choose to keep their wrestling organization small and, unrelevant. And it's like, I don't understand why do you even spend money on a wrestling organization if you don't want to be a player?
I hear you. I hear you 100% on that.
I mean, other than that, just be an indie show. And, book dudes from, smaller, bigger promotions. I don't get it. All right, the next one, I just saw this one. The Observer notes that Lance Archer was very angry backstage about the way his match with Eddie Kingston was cut short because of the injury he suffered on a moonsault. Did you see that?
I did not see that, no.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. Lance Archer tried to do a moonsault off the top rope. He landed on the top of his head.
Damn, that's yeah.
Yeah, that's why they shut the match off early, dude. They thought you could possibly be paralyzed.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do remember. I was trying to remember. I was like, no, I don't think I saw that. But now I definitely remember. Yeah, because Archer, yeah, dude, I definitely remember seeing that. Holy cow, you're right. Because I was like, you could tell that he had hit his head. It looked like he hit his head. I was like, ooh, dang, it looked like he hit his head. But maybe he's good. And then, he was like, he kind of stepped out of the ring, and then as soon as he came back into the ring, he just got rolled up, and I was like, oh, damn, it must have been legit if he just kind of came back into the ring, got rolled up, and lost. Like, they were just like, all right, we're going to the finish. You just roll him up, and that's it. So, yeah, I definitely did see that. So, hopefully he's okay, man, because I did see that, and as soon as he landed on his head, I was like, ooh, that looked like it didn't feel good. And he's a big dude. Like, putting all the weight of yourself on your head like that, man, that's not good.
There's on YouTube, there's an angle from a fan's phone camera, and they slow it down. And I was just like, oh my God, how is that dude still walking? It was crazy. Let's see. WWE is building Roman Reigns up to be the greatest champion of all time. Boy, you're typing with the best of them right there, dog.
Oh, you can hear me typing? I'm replying to an email here. Same, you got the same email I got, which is not relevant to this podcast, but
okay.
I'm just trying to get a reply in before I forget.
WWE building Roman Reigns up to be the greatest champion of all time, sources told WrestlingNews.co. As part of that, he'll break Brock Lesnar's record for the longest Universal title reign. And speculation from Unc Dave on Wrestling Observer Radio and elsewhere is saying that Reigns versus Lesnar is a planned main event for WrestleMania 38.
Oh, well, hey, WrestleMania 38, there was rumors that he was going to, wrestle The Rock, but I don't think that's happening anymore. Like I was saying the other day, if Brock doesn't beat him, I don't see who can beat him right now. Like, I mean, having him go to WrestleMania 38 with it, I mean, damn, that's a hell of a run.
Well, apparently they didn't even want Brock to beat him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Brock's not going to beat him, who will? Like, Brock
exactly.
If Brock's not going to beat him, I don't see anyone else beating him. So that's crazy. That just kind of, to me, that kind of shows you the lack of depth on the roster right now. Because if Brock can't beat him, then who's going to beat him? No one, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And finally, PW Insider says they got a hold of an internal WWE list as what they're going to do with the undrafted talents. So Asuka, Elias, and Lucha House Party are going to go to Raw. Dakota Kai is going to NXT, and Brock Lesnar is going to be on SmackDown.
Yeah, I did see that Brock was going to SmackDown, which I expected because obviously SmackDown's on Fox, so you want Brock to be on that show. But yeah. Who was the other one you said?
Let's see. Asuka, Elias, and Lucha House Party are going to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And Dakota Kai is going to NXT.
Oh, well. So Dakota Kai is staying in NXT, basically.
Oh.
That's where that's where she was. All right, yeah. So
that's it.
All right, well, good show, man.
Yeah, man. Make sure you follow us on your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, AMP Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for Marcus for hanging out with us today before you went to work. We appreciate you as always, brother. Patrick, I think there's only one thing left to do, man.
Yes, sir. Outro.
You've been listening to the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast with David Boston and Patrick Fry. All opinions discussed organization or individual. This has been a Lake Area Media LLC production.